The following scary videos come from one of you guys who prefers to stay anonymous, so let's just call him Dude. Dude found this clip online with almost no context, and thought we should feature it in hopes the Goose Pimple community could help make sense of it. After some digging, we discovered that it came from a security camera installed in a Mexican apartment complex. A girl heard screams from her neighbor's flat at stupid o'clock, so she thought she had a clever idea to go all alone and check out what was going on. But little did she know, she was about to come face to face with something she'd never forget. Take a look at what the security camera captured that night. Like something straight out of a horror movie, we see her get dragged by her hair into the neighbor's apartment. She already looked inside and clearly didn't see anyone before turning to investigate somewhere else. Then, out of nowhere, she was literally yanked back by an unseen force. With no backstory or a better camera angle, we can't say for sure what is going on here, but her hair gets yanked right in front of the camera. That's not exactly easy to fake. A setup designed to freak out viewers online? Maybe. But the way she's dragged by an unseen force, caught clearly on CCTV, it makes you wonder if something far more sinister showed up that night. Strangely, no one's been able to provide any updates since, and no one's managed to debunk it so far. Can you? Let us know. Number 6. The Haunted Daycare. 2020 was obviously a dark year, with the pandemic hitting almost every part of the globe, leading to many deaths and people fearing for the worst. However, amongst all the death and fear, an evil brewed at a daycare center in New York that only came to light after the lockdown. This facility had a music school upstairs, while the basement served as a daycare. According to TikToker Brenna, who shared this story, the kids at the daycare, and even her friend and then roommate, would hear and see weird stuff all the time. She explained that the kids would often say things like, "There's a mean guy in there," referring to the dark corner of the basement. Not to mention kids calling out the name of someone who doesn't go there or seemingly playing peekaboo with the wall. This creepy-ass daycare was basically the stuff of nightmares, but they kept this hidden in fear of parents withdrawing their kids from the center, putting their jobs at risk. This went on until the pandemic hit and everyone had to stay home. Finally, the reports got to the owners of the place, who decided to install a security camera in the basement to see if they could have it on tape. What they would eventually capture is freaking scary. Take a look. Someone or something can be seen having a field day at the daycare. It's almost as if the toys came alive like a real-life Toy Story scene. When Brenna and her sister dug into its history, they found something shocking. Something that might just explain all the weird stuff that's been happening there. In the 1900s, this building served as an underground casino before suffering a mysterious massive fire that almost reduced it to ruins. It wasn't stated if lives were lost in this fire, but many people believe that it was the genesis of paranormal happenings in the building.
We also looked up the history of the building one time, and it was both an underground casino and had a massive fire in like the 1900s. So a lot of shit has happened there for sure. I know I teased the fact that my sister has another video, but I unfortunately cannot share that because there are children's faces and voices in it and she just doesn't feel comfortable, which I completely agree with. But I will explain what happened in it. So it's these kids just like goofing off, and then at the very end you hear like a disembodied voice, a man's voice, and there were no men present. A man saying, "Stop that," just like that, very low, like a growl.
While Brenna didn't feel comfortable sharing the other videos his sister caught of paranormal activities, out of privacy concerns for the kids involved, she uploaded this video detailing more terrifying things they experienced there, as well as a spooky audio. Here is the clip.
So on that note, like, this video was taken off of a Nest camera that like detected motion in March 2020. If you weren't in New York or like aren't aware of like how the city was at that time, it was a dead zone. Like, people were not getting on the subway if they didn't have to. The school was shut down. There was no reason for people to be in there. I promise I'm about to play that audio and then I'm done talking about this. But yeah, basically, just so for a little refresher, it's at the very end of a video that my sister was taking of her kids being like silly and goofy. So in the video, they're like kind of like roughhouse, like not like fighting, but like they're being goofy with each other and interacting with each other. And at the very end, you hear like a disembodied voice sounding like a man, and there's no men present, and it's like a growl, and it's saying it's somebody or something saying stop it, like that. And I play it 3 times in a row, so here you go.
So, what are your thoughts on this one? Share them in the comments section. A poltergeist told me you enjoy scary videos like this, but don't subscribe just yet. We'll earn your subscription by the end of this scary compilation. Number 5. Ghost Residence. In August 2021, YouTuber Dark Mystic jumped on a terrifying adventure to investigate a haunted house deep in the Russian woods. Well, it turned out to be an experience that would push him to his limits. According to him, other paranormal investigators went there with their fancy gadgets and camera crew. But apparently, only those who Rambo the challenge alone end up catching something unexplainable. Those usually come back pretty shaken up by what they encounter there, with a few swearing never to set foot in that place again. The place became so feared that its Russian nickname loosely translates to the Ghost Residence, while others simply call it the house with the violent ghost. But what is a malevolent spirit to a man whose goal is to explore the most haunted places in Russia? On this Friday night, he packed his gear, ready to venture into this crazy house. But boy, it was an experience he won't be forgetting anytime soon.
Так, а тут, по-моему, были заколочены стекла. Это что? Кто это делает? Ребят, по-моему, когда я здесь был, окна были заколочены. Ракетка теннисная. Тут все отваливается где-то, а?
couple of minutes before midnight, he starts his investigation by first going through each room of the house to prove to his fans that the place is completely empty. But as he moves through the house, the tension starts to build as he begins to hear things, with absolutely no one or thing in sight. It's easy to put this down as an insect or rodent, right? That's what we thought too. But this subsequent encounter proves that there might be something way more unsettling at play here. This is the footage that was caught.
Сейчас приступаем к ЕГФ. И попробуем узнать, кто тут есть. Здесь со мной может выйти кто-нибудь на контакт. Здесь со мной может выйти кто-нибудь на контакт. Слушай, что тут произошло? Здесь со мной может выйти кто-нибудь на контакт. О, пламя разгорелось.
As he tries to make contact with whatever's lurking in the house, the shelf suddenly shakes. Like someone or something wanted to make sure he knew it was there. Then the candle flame starts flickering, but this wasn't just a breeze. Convinced that whatever made the noise wanted to communicate, he kept pushing for more. Little did he know, he was in way over his head.
Я заметил шумы, падения и всякой еще ерунды. Я знаю, что ты здесь находишься. Ты можешь?
Я могу.
Молодец. Ты можешь назвать свое имя? Меня зовут Евгений. Ты можешь назвать свое имя? Назови свое имя.
Назови ты.
Я тебе только что назвал свое имя. Назови свое имя.
Назови ты.
Я тебе только что назвал свое имя. Это что сейчас было? Психуешь, что ли? Вообще. Где ты сейчас находишься? Что тут происходит? Камера пишет. Где ты сейчас находишься?
Сзади тебя.
It seemed like our guy struck a nerve when he asked for the spirit's name. After all, malevolent spirits don't just hand out their names. Too much risk of exorcism. That's when the wardrobe door in the next room suddenly creaked shut. And to make things even creepier, his camera caught the exact moment the mirror reflected light from the other camera. What's even creepier is that he claimed the wardrobe door had been wedged to the floor when he first checked it out. So you can imagine the shock on his face when he realized it had been moved by someone or something. But that wasn't the only spine-chilling moment. Just as he asked where the entity was, did you notice how the device eerily responded? Behind you.
Сзади тебя.
Is this all just a clever trick? A game of smoke and mirrors? Hold that thought and see what happens next.
Ходит. Это ты это делаешь? Что-то вроде все успокоилось. Какой нервный, а?
Нет.
Это не ты это все делаешь. А кто это делает? Ты один в этом доме? Сколько вас здесь находится? Везде шумы какие-то. Сколько вас здесь находится?
Четыре.
Что там, полдома что-то развалилось? Нет, она вроде целая. Это что такое упало? Это дверь, что ли?
While interacting with whatever was lurking in the house, he discovers 3 other entities. As the night dragged on, these entities got more aggressive, trying to get close, but it seemed like something was keeping them from reaching him. That might explain the footsteps on the attic, and the chunk of the building that fell caught on camera 4. No one was seen in either case, making the whole thing even creepier. But after all that, the spirit suddenly went radio silent, leaving him alone with the unsettling question of what went wrong. He eventually left with an experience that's definitely etched into his memory. What will he find next? We'll just have to wait and see. Number 4. Strange closet sound. Tony Lowry, a mother of 5 from New Jersey, was having a regular Tuesday morning getting her kids ready for school, but around 7 AM, one of her sons came running to her, completely freaked out. He swore he heard a woman's voice coming from the closet downstairs. At first, Tony tried to laugh it off, thinking maybe it was just his brother messing with him. After all, her daughters were still in bed, and no one else was home. But when she saw how shaken up her son was, she decided to check the security footage just to be sure. What she found left her jaw wide open in disbelief. Take a look. We can hear a chilling voice say, "How did you find me?" Now terrified and worried, Tony grabbed a hammer and checked every room, thinking it might be an intruder, but she found absolutely nothing. No one and nothing could have possibly spoken those words. A few days later, some concerned followers asked for an update of her unsettling encounter. In response, she posted this upsetting video.
Do not leave me, please. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, please. I'll do anything.
Now scared of the dark or sleeping alone, the poor boy is scared witless of being downstairs, not even with his brother. Should the family be looking for another house? Or do you think this is something that will eventually blow over? Let us know in the comments. Number 3. The unexplained knockdown. This next video was recorded off a security camera in Colombia on July 21st, 2024. According to the uploader, the man in this video had 24 stitches at the hospital right after what happened here. It all started when a loud bang was suddenly heard, and before anyone could figure out what had happened, a few others who were outside rushed over and found a man lying unconscious on the floor. Curious about what knocked the wind out of him, they turned to the CCTV footage, and this is the baffling clip they found. As the man was about to leave again, a strange object suddenly flew in at lightning speed, knocking him to the ground. He needed 24 stitches, showing just how powerful the impact was. This bizarre event left us replaying the video over and over, trying to figure out what sent this guy on an unexpected trip to the hospital. When we slowed down the footage, we noticed a small orb on the floor that seemed to grow as it changed trajectory, eventually hitting it. This has left everyone scratching their heads. Some say the object came from inside the building. Others think he might have been electrocuted or even hit by a bug flying by just at the right moment. There's also the theory that the door rebounded and struck him. Our take on this one? Well, if it came from inside the building, we would surely see it coming out. But instead we only see a small orb forming behind the car, turning around and growing until it eventually hits the dude. But with so many other theories and that mysterious orb behaviour, it's hard to dismiss any paranormal assumption attached to this clip. What do you think really happened here? Let us know. Number 2. Haunted Bomb Store. When the YouTube channel Urbex with Taffy explored an old freaky World War II bomb store, they were hoping to catch any signs of paranormal activity in the underground bunker. The place is said to be haunted by the ghosts of soldiers who were trapped and died there. It used to be known for shadowy figures and disembodied voices echoing through the concrete walls. But lately, it's been as quiet as a closed-down amusement park. So, the team geared up expecting this to be just a walk in the park. Little did they know, the place still had a few surprises in store. Here's a clip of what went down that night.
Okay guys, so we've moved to a different part of the bomb store, so we're going to try shouting out and see if we catch anything. I'm just here with exploring with Carl and urban legend is just he's downstairs just checking some bits out. So that's Carl waving. So you can just see there's Carl. Okay. Right. So, is there anyone in here with us? Would you make a sound? If there's anyone in here, just make a noise. What the f?
As they tested their sound and visuals one last time before exploring various parts of the site, they decided to call out to see if someone or something might respond. Lo and behold, a shadowy figure suddenly peeked right in front of them. Who or what the hell appeared in the darkness? Skeptics might argue that this was probably another member of their team, or perhaps a homeless wanderer having a laugh, but paranormal enthusiasts suggest that the urban legend might still be alive after all. Besides, the team saw that the other guys weren't even close to their location, and when they eventually searched the area, whatever or whoever made that eerie appearance had gone poof. So what do you think? Real ghostly apparition, or a fun piece of paranormal entertainment? Let us know. Number 1. The shape-shifting cat. This next video captures the wild end of a high-speed chase between the cops and some unknown guy. The crime? Still a mystery, but it's what the CCTV camera picked up during the chase that has everyone scratching their heads, trying to make sense of it. Take a look. To us, it looked like he got out of the car performing an epic escape, but when we dug through the comments, things became more blurry. Apparently, when we slow down the footage, something strange happens. Many saw what looked like a small animal crossing the road, only to suddenly change into a human. The shape-shifting seems pretty clear to most commenters. Can you see it? One thing is for certain though, some people have talents you don't see every day.